it's also been a wild week because I'm leaving DM. Um, Not entirely of my own decision, but after talking with Richard a couple times, I feel good about it, right? Uh, and so I've just been taking the past couple days, reaching out to my network and being like, what the heck is next for me? I got a lot of smart people that I can tap on the shoulder. I've already like come across an opportunity. I've got like an agency that wants to start. They're a really good agency. They want to do like an info product and might help them with that. But really, I'm just trying to see like what's the common themes that I'm seeing that are like issues amongst people that they're needing help with. But also, I've come to realize like I get a sounding board while I'm like talking to people like what are those strengths that maybe I don't see in myself, and so it's been a lot of fun. Just like just hop on the phone with all my old contacts, even some that are maybe, have been on the periphery of DM for a while. It's like we still have a relationship, and it's like let's freaking jump on the line, So you're on my list of smart people to talk to.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time always, brother.
Well, here's my advice for you, or my thoughts for you, and I'd love to see what you think. There are a lot of people that do coaching, as you know, which you're one of them. And the coaching of business owners, I think in some ways is easier because the business owners are tied to the actual product or service that's delivering some kind of value than it is to coach agencies, which is what you've done a lot of. And I think that's arguably one of the toughest things to do because you're several steps removed from the actual value that's being created for the underlying consumer or patient or whatnot. And because there's so many people that are selling info products, I'm not saying it's, that phase is over, but I feel like because content creation is now so prevalent and so easy to do with these AI tools, as that it's almost like they're all the guys that are selling SaaS or products as a service, the productized services, which are what agencies are becoming. It's like the info stuff is the way to sell the underlying package service. And I think that puts a squeeze on anyone that sells info products because their underlying monetization has to tie back to not the course or program, but the actual like underlying thing. But it also in a weird way makes it easier to run an agency if you have a clear niche. So I think this is my personal view, but I think because of your experience in coaching agencies, wouldn't it be cool if you became an agency to see for yourself if you haven't already? Because I think it's actually the easiest and best time to run an agency because literally to like yesterday, this guy I'd never talked to before, who is a cosmetic surgeon, got ripped off by this other PPC agency. They were paying $14K a month and then paid some ungodly amount of money to build the website, which is complete garbage. And if I was Garrett, I would have taken that on and said, you know what, I'll fix that. And then I would have white labeled it back to other folks who would do the PPC and build the website and then take my big margin on it. And that one is basically $5K a month. So, and of course you have fees and all that, you have your own expenses. So it's not like pure revenue. When you're an employee, you have no expenses basically. But like for you, if you literally took a niche like medical or legal or whatever, and we practice what we preach and just get 10 clients that are paying you 2 or 3K a month, you're at $250,000 a year with very little expense and most importantly, ongoing revenue with very little time required. And then it's ongoing revenue. It's easy,
I started to kind of take a stab at this and I started and let me know what you think about this niche. It may not be specific enough, but I try to think about what I'm passionate about. And, I'm a Texan through and through. So I started Texan Marketer. I want to help Texas businesses grow, whether they're in the Gulf Coast and they want to expand into the Panhandle, or it's an Austin company that wants to expand into Dallas. So that's something that I had been playing with. How does that kind of sit with you as far as like, is that too broad of a niche, or you think that may be something to go after?
That can work. I give you two things to think about. One is that the type of specialization or niching can be done by geo, which is like Texas or Oklahoma or whatever, which usually categorizes itself towards a type of business that's in that region. Mm-hmm. For example, San Diego lends itself towards like travel and tourism sorts of companies. So it's three ways to niche. One is by geo, like Texas. Two is by a vertical, like real estate agents or like chiropractors or attorneys, something like that. And then three is by function, such as you do SEO or PPC or whatever it is. And I think that third one is impossible to do nowadays, because that's the SaaS companies and software companies are taking that, because it's a horizontal play, not a vertical play. Mm-hmm. So it's either vertical, which is, I think, the easiest one. But if you say Texan kinds of businesses, but you narrow it down to service businesses, I think that's actually really easy to do. So in other words, if they're local service type businesses where there's hundreds that do the same thing, it's actually really easy. So if I think about Texas, there's in Austin, there's a lot of tech companies. B, people still need things like, home services. So garage door, roofing, Cairo. I mean, I think you could even start out initially, because you don't have the encumbrance of baggage and whatever, as serving just Texas local service businesses. And maybe you do want to take the larger ones and expanding in other areas, or you take franchises, which are an easy but hard, because you could get like, a franchise that has 20 locations, some that are corporate owned, some that are franchised out. And you can make a handy living, serving 2 or 3 franchisors in Texas.
I know a lot of people that are I know a few people that are doing it like kind of at scale with a specific, like with franchisees using Go High Level. How do you feel about Go High Level?
High Level's great. You've seen, I hang out with Sean and Varun and those guys that are on the podcast, with Chase and all them. But I think Go High Level is just another HubSpot Active Campaign, Infusionsoft, whatever, that has become popular among entre bros and solo agencies.
The people we know.
Because it's been driven by the affiliate model, because they're 40% commission payout, which is absolutely ridiculous. So, my buddy Brendan started Vendasta, and he nearly bought High Level last year, as you probably know, but passed on it because their sales were all their growth was contingent upon basically 8 affiliates that drove like 80% of their revenue, which is great. And, High Level is a all-in-one CRM that's especially for lead gen. So a lot of the bros that are running PPC and Facebook ads to calls with the integration of CallRail and Twilio is great for High Level, but I don't think High Level as a software product isn't. I mean, me as an engineer and other engineers that look at it, we don't think it's a fantastic product. It does have courses that allows you to sell their SaaS thing or whatever, but I mean, either way, you still have the issue of choosing a primary CRM to run an agency. It's just been the popular one for agencies.
Yeah. It sounds like you may have a slight endorsement for Vendasta's white label services.
I wouldn't use any of their white label services right now.
Yeah.
I would use their platform for scoring. Yeah. I would use their snapshot report. I would use the infrastructure for billing. I would even list yourself as a partner offering services in the marketplace. But I would not buy. And I had dinner with Brendan a couple of weeks ago. We came to Vegas and we hung out and all that. I love him to death. I've advised him since before he started Vendasta. George came out and saw me too, like a week or two ago, and he co-founded. He also left Vendasta, which happened. Gib Olander left Vendasta. We talked a couple days ago. Everyone's starting their own thing right now. There's about to I'm not a pessimist, but there's about to be some sort of economic something happening, which is actually fantastic for entrepreneurship for us. But I would use Vendasta for their scoring tools. They've got good training. I'm biased because I've produced a lot of their training. But I don't think the tool that you select is really that important from the operation of an agency, and especially where you are, where I don't know what your financial situation is, but I assume that you want to get a few clients under your belt with working with people that you like in an area you like, doing things you want to do. Right? So you've got a great network. So I think if you start an agency, you would very quickly get your clients, and you would have a lot of reputation and authority because you know everybody. But maybe it's a little different if maybe you've been doing more of the coaching side and maybe haven't actually rolled up your. So I'm not saying you have or you haven't, but maybe you haven't rolled up your.
No, that's where my biggest concern is like getting into the nuts and bolts and stuff. Like I do offer the advice, and I've taken some stabs and stuff, but once you get those sleeves rolled up, it is more work than people just assume, I guess. So
I think it's easy. I audit PPC campaigns. I mean, I'm one of those where like I could have just basically said, I had my success 10 years ago. Now just like speak on stage and live in the old days or whatever. But I still cut my teeth every day on running ads. And like obviously about like $1 a day, which runs across every single channel. It's not a Facebook only kind of thing. But I think you might be pleasantly surprised, because running ads on it can feel intimidating. It's actually not, but running ads on Google or Facebook or these other places has become easier, massively easier in the last couple of years, because the AI does the optimization now. You basically stick the things in the machine, and the machine handle. It used to be very difficult 5 or 6 years ago. You had to know like lots of shit, but now it's actually easy if you have the right ingredients. So I think it really stems back to choosing the right clients. If you have the right clients and you get the right ingredients, the actual like that's like 80%. Like talk to Qasim, and he'll say
I've already
80% of it's in the setup and the digital plumbing, the tracking, and putting the right videos and whatever in the system. Then the system just takes it. Facebook takes it for you. The Advantage Plus, all that stuff.
Yeah,
I'll help you. Right, I'll help you you choose the niche. Shoot, I mean, you and I, all we got to do is do like a webinar or write a couple articles. And you have a huge advantage because you can immediately have clients in whatever area you want. That's the hardest challenge for anyone that's under $250,000 a year. They'll say it's getting clients. I think that's actually the easiest thing.
Yeah, especially for me, like just tapping that network and I have so many. I sent a list of people to one of my friends, and it's like, it looks like a marketing conference, Yeah,
so. You could do that. I mean, you could. I think if you want blunt advice, this is just me, so take it for what it's worth. But I think the biggest mistake that you could make is doing like consulting, because then you're going to get one-off revenue instead of recurring revenue. And it's easy to do that because you're coming kind of from the employee. You've been an employee, for a bit, and you're used to doing consulting, but you've been an employee. You're like this internal consulting is kind of the way I'd look at it, like doing coaching programs. So it would naturally, I think if you just by sheer inertia, you would naturally fall into doing consulting for a lot of the people that because like, hey, I'm available. Can you give me some advice? And like this kind of call. And you naturally do a little consulting here and a little consulting there. Like all these people would naturally want to work with you, which would just like sort of happen by default. But the trouble with that is that if you are doing one-off stuff, you end up accidentally becoming a freelancer and a consultant, which is nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But the model of being a consultant, where you have to continue to hunt and kill for every single project that you have, because each one expires and you have to have another project and another project, and you spend all this time talking to people trying to get more projects. That is a very different model than owning an agency where you have people that pay you on recurring revenue because of work you did that continues to pay you, work that you did a year ago, 10 years ago, that continues to pay you.
Yeah. One of the questions I was asking myself is like, since I have been what I call W-2, for the past like 6.5 years, it's like, do I go down that path
You're going to bring the
again?
employee somewhere else. I mean, your first decision is, do I want to go work for somebody and be an employee, or do I want to start my own thing? I guess we should have started with that, because that's the first decision you have to make, right?
Yeah, and I think that's, I obviously a lot of people that I know are in the entrepreneurial space, so they have that entrepreneurial, mindset, and so
nothing wrong with being an employee. You could be someone's COO.
Yeah, I'm having I know kind of even like account management at a bigger company, I was great.
I'd hire you to run account management for us.
Well, I'll keep you on the short list. You just let me know. But yeah, I'm just exploring all sorts of stuff, so it's like, but I mean, obviously this conversation naturally went towards agency stuff, and I know a lot of agencies, and that's an idea that I have been toying with. So the world
you could coach agencies, but under your umbrella instead of DM.
Yeah, for sure.
But just know the agency, the coaching agencies is a tough proposition.
Well, and it's noisy out there too, right? There's a lot of people trying to coach agencies because
under the brand of DM, you have the list and all that. It looks easier, but without the DM brand, you don't really. It's just very hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of people that have either come into the partner program and left, or people that are still in there that need help rolling that stuff out. So that's something that I thought about. I was like, I could actually come and give you some undivided attention, which DM has been lacking in for a good long while, and help them roll out those strategies. So that's there's something there, but it's not. I don't know if that's not what immediately draws me in. Like obviously there's something. I think there's something to the agency thing, right? Because it's something that I was exploring already. I think there is some things that scare me about that, but welcome to life, right? You're gonna, if you're stepping out into a void, you're gonna be a little nervous about it.
You got a bunch of people that'll help you. That's your network.
That's the thing.
I think the biggest mistake you can make, but of course that's my opinion, is that you just continue to coach agencies and give them the one-on-one support, like doing what you're doing, but not under DM. That would seem like a natural move, but I think that would result in more headache than you anticipate, even though that appears to be safer than starting your own agency, because you haven't really, you've been coaching these people, but you haven't been on the other side. And so that seems scary. But I don't think it's as scary as it looks, because it's like, well, I don't know how to use high level, or I've never done PPC, but maybe I could white label it to these other guys, but I'm telling you, I coach agencies and I run agencies. I know both sides.
Yeah, and I mean, I've already talked to Rondo. I mean, they're doing white label PPC stuff right there. So, and I know he's working on making that product better and better every day. So. He said he was working on they're going to make Invisible PPC the entry point offer, and then offer full service agency stuff on as an upsell. So that's something that they're working on here in the next few months. So it does sound like, the people that I talked to Grimshaw day before yesterday too. And, the agency side of what they're doing at Smart Marketer is, that's the cash cow. Right. It's actually doing the stuff. So yeah, I think from a business standpoint, that seems like a good avenue to explore further.
Yeah. And another way to look at it is the not that like money's the most important thing, but you have to put food on the table and that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course.
What is the thing that you provide the most value on? So yes, you can provide coaching services all day long. I do a little coaching for fun, mainly for friends. But if you're helping mechanic, or you're helping a cosmetic surgeon, or you're helping like whatever. There's clear value there because you know what those patients or clients or jobs, like a garage door company, a garage door is like 12 grand, and that that's worth 3 or 4 grand for every new one that you have. And you set up a PPC campaign that gives them 20 new clients every month. And you can do the math on that, and you white label it out to Invisible PPC or whoever, then really you are, and the client acquisition is easy because you know how to do that, because we coach agencies on how to acquire clients, and I can help you with that too. That's easy, right? Then you're tracing it back to clear value, that you're consulting with the business owners and coordinating with the execution, because they're confused as hell on SEO and PPC and all this, and they still are. I mean, this stuff's been, whatever. I think it's easy, but like that's a clear tie to value. If you're coaching their agencies, because they do need, one-on-one help and all that, it's tougher to quantify the value, and more of it's going to be one-off. Therefore, tougher to have ongoing, clear value of them, like wanting to pay, Garrett. Like, what would I pay? Do I just want access to Garrett? So that's like squishy value, right?
Yeah. I've seen somebody actually do this really well recently. I talked to her the other day, and she was she's honed in on helping authors, kind of grow, and she's kind of taking the growth scorecard that we offer, and then she knows what metrics she's helping grow. It's like and she knows exactly what she's doing. She warms up a list that hasn't been nurtured in a long time, and then they can go out and do the promotion. But what she's doing is helping raise open rates, click-through rates, etc. And so she knows
value there. Yeah, there's a number that she's increasing, so she's going to deliver value on that. So then, I'd ask, what's the number, what's the metric that Garrett changes?
Yeah. Well, let me wrap my mind around that a little bit. I do have this call here in 5, so I want to be mindful of that. I wanted to say this. I one of the things that why I'm leaving is because the mastermind program and the coaching program, failed to scale under my leadership. I was always in a fulfillment role, not really a marketing role. But obviously, through the years, I've asked you a lot of questions about it. And I think one of the things that we really failed to do at DM, and part of the reason we didn't, get a lot of traction is, I don't think our paid acquisition strategy is very great. And I always, kick myself for not doing more of those 15-second videos that you hammered on me about. And so I hope DM picks it up and starts doing that stuff. But that's really awesome advice, and I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think there probably still is, right? You said those 15-second videos aren't going anywhere. That's a format right now, So yeah,
there is a best-selling book on that.
Well, but yeah, and also I just thank you for always being. We've known each other for years at this point, and you've always taken my call whenever I sent you a message or anything like that, and I appreciate your willingness. Not only for me, but everyone around. Just kind of willing to offer that your insight and knowledge and being so forthcoming with it. It's great to see, and I really appreciate you, brother.
Well, thank you, Garrett. Can I quote you on that?
Of course. Yeah. This thing's recorded. So, feel free. You got the recording. Feel free to cut it up. But yeah, obviously
whatever I can do. Dude,
yeah.
The cool thing is like, it's this weird thing because you have so many choices, but it's like, what color Ferrari do you want? It's not like a bad thing that you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know that we'll be doing a coordinated social outreach, whenever I'm still on the DM payroll, right? So whenever that comes to an end, I'll kind of be like, we'll do a post. Ryan will do a post. He's still in my corner. He's still supporting me and everything like that. But yeah, everyone I talk to, we'll kind of jump on that. And I have no doubt if we throw that on LinkedIn and Facebook, it's going to get some eyeballs, So you know, I'll ping you whenever that goes out. I'm sure you'll see it, and just, you know, help give that some love. I'd appreciate it. And then I'm sure I'll be tapping you on the shoulder.
No, seriously.
more
And a lot
than
of
just
people say,
today.
"Oh yeah, reach out if you need help." No, but I mean it.
Yeah,
Let me
no,
know. I'll help you.
I know
Yeah.
you do. I know you do, and I appreciate you know, you offering and your generosity.
Yeah, I know you got your call in 2 minutes. You're looking at the clock.
Yeah, I got to go start this. Like I said, I'm
Okay.
still DM, so I got to go
Yeah,
start
yeah.
this call.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Well, just
Thanks,
holler,
brother.
Garrett. I'm here for you.
I will do.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
See you, my friend.